Welcome back, my friends, to another Minecraft update video. This one is for Snapshot 25W17A. We've got the locator bar in the screenshot. This is because the locator bar is being moved out of experiments, which is this spot here for features and updates they're working on, but they're not sure what update it's going to be a part of. This does indeed mean it's going to be a part of 1.21.6, which I'm currently calling the Ghastly Summer Drop. I love that name. Not sure if that's actually official or not. But before we get into the changes of this snapshot, I just need to talk about the last video uploaded to this channel for a moment. In this video, we investigated the colored lighting that can be found on Bedrock Edition and speculated that it might be coming to Java Edition with vibrant visuals. And sod's law, not long after publishing that video, someone in the comments pointed me in the direction of an answer. It's found inside of the Vibrant Vanguard Discord server, which we talked about in that video. These questions all regard vibrant visuals on Java Edition, and here it says, colored light ? Answer no. You may have noticed that was edited. I actually made a note of what the original response was. And I thought it was an odd one because vibrant visuals doesn't affect gameplay, so like, why would colored lighting affect gameplay? That is probably why the question was edited down to a simple no. So there it is, we're not going to get colored lighting on Java. However, if you are on Bedrock Edition, you can still enjoy the colored lighting feature. Oh, and that reminds me, Bedrock now has Flatworlds. Yes, I know this is a Java snapshot video, but quickly, if you are a Bedrock player, you create a new world, you go to the Advanced tab, you'll see there's now an option for Flatworlds. When you enable this, you can do all of the configuration like you can on Java Edition to create your own flat world. It has all of the same presets. However, it doesn't seem to be possible to customize each of these layers, change the heights or materials yet. Right then, let's get back to today's snapshot where we have an option to reduce the cloud range. This was recently changed so it would go off into the distance like you can see here. And now inside of video settings, we have a slider to change this. Mine was set to 128 by default. And I've repositioned my camera so at the top of the screen, when I slide this, you can kind of see the clouds coming and going. When I set it to 16 chunks, it looks rather odd. Anyway, you can now set it to whatever you like. So the next feature to check out is the locator bar. And reading this changelog, I get a big sense of deja vu. I actually went back and compared the patch notes to that of Snapshot 25W15A. This was when the locator bar was first introduced to Java Edition. And so many of the changes listed here on the website are actually identical to last time we were told about this. So I've rummaged through all of these different notes and I've actually found what's different with this implementation now that it's out of experiments. First of all, it looks like they fixed the bug with the team color, so we should just go and check and see if that's true. Okay, my camera account is now on Team Gold. That's just the name of the team. We're now going to give it the color gold as well. And what would you know? It worked. The waypoint indicator changed to a golden color. They also fixed an issue with the arrows pointing in the wrong direction when you're in F5 mode. It now correctly puts the arrows on the screen when you're looking from this viewpoint. So those were two solid fixes. Now let's check out everything that's new. I've done that by teleporting my camera account to 00. And this is because the icon on the locator bar will now change based on distance. So I've teleported myself 179 blocks away. When we move backwards, the icon changes once you're past 180 blocks. It goes from a square to a slightly smaller circle shape. This happens again at 232 blocks. Let's take a step back and you'll see it goes to an even smaller icon. And the same is true at 284 blocks. So back up a little bit, and now we get this little cross icon down below. I thought I would lay these numbers out on signs so we can just take them in a little better. The first shape is good for 180 blocks, and then it's a difference of 52 where the circular shape is active, the smaller square for another 52, and then beyond that, you get the small cross. These new icons are described as Waypoint Styles, and here on the website you can see that there are 4 different ones listed. And we can see these icons inside of the game's files with the same names, default 0 to 3. Inside of here there is also one called Bowtie, which is very curious little addition. And this example command even refers to a custom icon being used with the command, but there doesn't appear to be any mention or reference to it inside of this command itself. When I put this armor stand into the world, I did not get a bow tie at any point. I even teleported into the distance to get the different icons. All right, bit of an odd update, but that command actually got deleted from the Minecraft.net post. Despite this being inside of the game, it turns out you're going to need a resource pack to enable it. Once that's done, we're then going to need a waypoint modify command to set its style to Bowtie, and voila, we've now got a Bowtie down here. And with this being enabled for a resource pack, you can of course add your own and yeah, make your own custom waypoints. And it's just going to hit me, you could make a waypoint icon for every type of entity in the game. You could have a little squid face down on your waypoint bar. You could even have structures highlighted down there as well. This means that resource packs could be used to tell you much more about the world that you're in through the locator bar. Yeah, I'm sure that's something that we're going to see taken advantage of. It's a really cool feature. Alright, before we move on, I think now would be a good time as ever to do a little subscribe plug, because a lot of you watching aren't actually subscribed, so if you want to make sure you don't miss future Snapshot coverage and Minecraft news, well then, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for considering. Next up, let's talk changes related to the new Ghast. First of all, the dried Ghast has been downgraded to a common item or block. It used to be uncommon and have a yellow name, but because both of its ingredients were common, the dried Ghast is now common. This next one's from a bug fix. I'm not sure if I ever tested this or not, but the bug fix confirms its intended behavior. We've got a harness inside of a dispenser, and when we activate it with redstone, it will actually equip that onto the happy Ghast. And so I guess we could put shears into here, right? And try that again. But shears won't unequip it. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that got reported as a bug and fixed in a future snapshot. The happy Ghast has also got a lot smarter when it comes to its pathfinding. This is because we have a tag list now, which can be customized, but these are the default blocks that a happy Ghast will avoid. These are all blocks that can damage it, and so now its pathfinding will know to avoid them. Another tag list was also added for the dried Ghast block. Its ambient sounds are now only going to play if it's placed on soul sand or soul soil. So I've headed over to a Woodland mansion, and that's because since Minecraft 1.17, there's been a room in this mansion that hasn't been generating due to a bug. Alright, this might be a little anticlimactic because it's not anything too special. It's just this room right here, which wouldn't have been seen for a long time, and it's got a loot chest with alliums in. Okay, that's everything that I'm covering from this snapshot, because next I wanted to share a few bits of Minecraft knowledge with you. After we got the changes to leashes, I simply wanted to goof around and learn as much as I could about them, and I've discovered a few interesting things about the leashes. Once you get a group of mobs all leashed to each other like this, it seems to disable their pathfinding. They just end up like standing in a position, occasionally moving ever so slightly. And if you break this so they're not actually in a circle, one of the mobs will become like the leader, and it'll be able to pathfind around, and all the other ones will simply just follow wherever it wanders. So check out what happens when we do this with the LA mob. Then we're going to go ahead and give it the LA spawn egg, because of course we would. And then we throw this item on the ground, and the LA's pathfinding will desperately attempt to get here, but it can't unless it's the leader. However, once you make it the leader, there's a high likelihood it's going to break the lead of other mobs it's pulling along. Now, we know that we can't leash minecarts, but we can actually put entities inside of minecarts that are leashed, and then use them to control the movement of other entities like this poor piggy. Because you have to leash an entity before clicking on a fence post, it's unfortunately not possible to leash fence posts to one another, which I think would be a really cool feature for creating custom fences. It would be nice to have that, but this very last thing that I'm going to show you is actually related to the happy Ghast. There are ways in this game to break bedrock, and effectively you could break enough bedrock to bring a happy Ghast down into the void area below the bedrock of the game. And as you can see, it can survive down here, it can be harnessed, and you could actually use this for transport under the bedrock of the world. Pretty bonkers, right? We discovered this during one of my live streams on Twitch. You can find the VOD on my second channel, which is linked down below. So if ever you want to catch some of my snapshot testing, follow me on Twitch and check out the second channel if you want to see the stream where we goofed around with these mobs. Anyways, that's it from me this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you soon next week with another one. Bye-bye.